Hi everyone, welcome back to our story time. We are reading The London Eye Mystery by Siobhan Dowd. We are on chapter 29, Pursuit. We couldn't find him. The exhibition hall was full to bursting. My hand flapped so much that Kat told me to shove it under my jacket. By now she was reverting to mean, mad Miss Catastrophe, and our minds were at polar extremes. We ended up back at the entrance. There were several guards on duty, but the strange man wasn't among them. Kat approached a woman guard who was in the middle of searching someone's bag. "Excuse me, miss," Kat said. The woman looked round, lips turned down. "What?" she snapped. "Do you know where Christy is?" "Christy? What's it to you?" "He's a friend. I've got a message for him." "A message?" "An important message." "What about?" "It's private." Private? The woman gave the handbag she was searching back to the owner. "He's just radioed. He says he's got a stomach bug. He's leaving for the day. Which means me and my two mates here, we're on our own, right? And we've got no time to stand blathering to his friends. Right?" "Right," said Kat. "With him, it's always the same. Sick this, dentist that, dead uncle the other. Never rains, but it pours." Her lips went down. She shook her head. "Haha. Just like his name. If you do catch him up on the way to the tube, give him a message from me. I'm sick of him being sick, and he needn't bother coming in tomorrow because he's fired." "Fired?" I said, thinking of people being burnt on the stake in olden days. "Fired, sacked, given the boot, take your pick." I stared at her and so did Kat. Then Kat grabbed me by the sleeve. "Hurry, Ted." She dodged past the other people, exiting, dragging me with her. I trod on 3 people's feet, but they were big biker men wearing big black boots, and they didn't even notice. We were out in the open air, across the lights, and I'd only just time to notice the weather. High strata cloud, fine sunshine. Before we were in the tube station, at the ticket barriers, and we glimpsed the strange man walking towards the eastbound platform. "It's him!" squeaked Kat. "Hurry!" I took my ticket out of my pocket. My hand shook itself so hard I dropped it. Kat screeched. I picked it up. The machine plucked it from my hand and spat it out on the top. "Pick it up, Ted! Ted, pick it up!" I'd forgotten that the barriers don't open until you retrieve your ticket. I picked it up and went through. "Run!" I ran after her, heading off to the side. I saw her hurl herself onto a waiting train. The doors beeped, about to close. I stepped on and got trapped. It felt like I was being squeezed from 3 dimensions into 2. Kat heaved the doors off and yanked me in. Oof! She turned into a tornado, an unstoppable force. He's in the next carriage down, not far from the door. I can see him. I'll keep my eye on him. We'll get off when he does. It was a rattling, old-style tube train that screeched and jerked. We held tight onto the bar, and it took the sharper bends. Sloane Square, Victoria, Blackfriars, Tower Hill, Aldgate East. The tube destination said Upminster. Were we going all the way there? After Stepney Greencat stooped into a crouch, like a tiger about to spring, and dragged me into a stooping position too. "He's getting up," she hissed. The train braked. It pulled into Mile End and halted. There was a pause. Seconds ticked by. Everybody waited silently. A man opposite tapped his foot on the floor. With a swoosh, the doors opened. Kat grabbed me and flew off the train, almost knocking over a gentleman trying to board. "Sorry," she muttered, pulling me after her by the sleeve of my sweatshirt. She ran behind a chocolate machine. The strange man was walking briskly down the platform and up a flight of stairs. "Now," said Kat. We emerged from behind the chocolate machine. "Don't run," Kat said. "Saunter." "Saunter," I said. I'm not actually very good at sauntering, but I did my best. We sauntered down the platform, up the steps, through the ticket barrier to the street entrance. Kat spotted him across the street. We crossed too and did some more sauntering behind him. He never looked round. His hands were in his jacket pockets and his head was down, as if he was having a long train of thought. He paused at a corner by some traffic lights and outside a pub called the Falcon Arms. We stopped too. After a moment, he went inside the pub. It was a large, grubby building with big bay windows and no curtains. It had a drooping white banner across the entrance saying, "Open all day." Above it swung a sign showing a picture of a falcon perched on a branch with a mouse in its beak. You could tell from the way the mouse's tail was flying behind that in the picture there was a strong wind, maybe even gale force 7. "What now, Kat?" I said. "We wait," Kat said. "Wait." "Yeah, we wait as long as it takes. You know what Dad says." "What?" "Pubs are black holes. People go in there and never come out again." "He's only joking, Ted." We stood on the street corner for 5 minutes. Kat got restless. The traffic streamed by. Kat said she felt like a sore thumb. Her thumb looked fine to me. I was just about to ask what she meant when she said, "I'm going to go sneak up in the pub window, Ted. You stay put here." I watched her sneak forward. She approached the bay window like a 00 agent on a mission to save the world. "He's propping up at the bar," she hissed over to me. I imagined a bar on wobbly trestles, liable to fall down at any moment. She took another look inside. "He's got a long glass of dark brown stuff in front of him, and he's hardly touched it," she reported. "He's watching TV on a big screen." She then rejoined me. "He could be in there for some time. Let's cross and wait by the television shop near that bus stop. We can watch TV while we wait, and people would just think we're waiting for the bus." We crossed over by the lights and stared at the TV images in the window. People chatting, laughing, shaking their heads. A mid-afternoon game show. We could see them, but not hear them. We had 18 different TVs to choose from. And then the game show ended and the news came on. 18 screens of soldiers in a foreign country walking up dusty streets with heavy guns. 18 screens of African children with flies around the large eyes and no clothes on. You could tell they were starving. 18 screens of a Prime Minister giving a speech at a convention, his 2 hands shaking themselves over the podium when he spoke, a bit like mine. Then 18 screens of our living room, our sofa, times 18. Rashid, times 18. Aunt Gloria with her white sweater, her orange lips and pale cheeks, times 18. She was talking. The cameras went in close. I could see the word "please." Kat gasped. "Auntie Glo!" Kat squeaked. "Our living room, on TV." "I forgot to tell you," I said. "You forgot to tell me?" "They called in the press." "The press?" "They came in a big van." "And they came while I was gone?" "Yes, Kat. And you didn't even tell me?" "No." Kat rolled her eyes. "I didn't have a chance, Kat, not with all those motorbikes." We watched as the 18 shots of our living room switched to 18 pictures of Salem. The one of him in his school blazer looking neither happy nor sad, then to a telephone number for contacting the police. The story ended. The next was about the latest mission to Mars and showed a robotic probe collecting specimens from the planet crust. Kat stared at it without seeing it, chanting, "Our living room, on TV." I was interested in the pictures of the bare landscape, wondering what the Martian weather conditions were like and if life might ever have existed there. Neither of us noticed until it was too late. A firm hand grasped my shoulder, and Kat's. I turned round. So did Kat. We were face to face with the strange man. He smelled of alcohol. His eyes were slits. His lips were tight, and I knew what that meant. Anger. Extreme. His grip hardened on my shoulder so that it hurt. "You again," he hissed. Chapter 30. The road to nowhere. Kat said nothing. I said nothing. His grip relaxed. He took a step back. He wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. "You followed me, didn't you? You followed me here from that scooter show." Kat nodded. "That missing kid, the one on the news, is that who you're looking for?" "Yes," said Kat. "And he's just not some kid. He's our cousin, Salem." "Well, why do you think I had anything to do with it?" "Because it was right after you gave us that ticket. Salem went up the London Eye, but he never came down again." The strange man looked at us with one side of his lip up and the other down, his nose scrunched up, his eyebrows bunched together. "Crazy kids," he said. But he wasn't even looking at us. He had his eyes raised upwards, as if we were floating above him in the air. "We're not crazy," Kat said. He looked down again and gave a strange kind of smile. "This cousin of yours, he went up in the eye and never came down, you say?" "Yes." "Well, kids don't just vanish into thin air." Kat sighed. "That's what the police said." The man's eyes shifted round her face to mine. "It's serious," Kat said. "The police are looking for him, and now it's all over the TV." "I don't know anything about this. I've told you before." "Did you really just buy a ticket and not decide to use it?" The man looked around and backed away. "Well, it wasn't exactly like that. A bus crammed with passengers had pulled up at the nearby stop. A woman with a buggy struggled to get on. The driver stared at her with his lips turned down. The strange man glanced at the bus, then looked at us. "It was this bird," he said, his words speeding up. The bus revved. The wheels of the buggy spun as the woman seesawed onto the platform. My hand was shaking itself out. "This bird in the queue, that's who I got the ticket from." "A bird?" I said, thinking of crows and pigeons. "A dark-haired chick. Nobody I knew. It was just her passing." She called me over and said how her boyfriend hadn't shown, and she didn't want to waste her ticket, but she didn't want to lose her boarding slot either. So she asked me to go over and give it to you. "Why us?" said Kat. The man shrugged. "Dunno. You were kids, right at the back of the queue, I guess. Maybe she just took pity on you." Suddenly, he dashed over to the bus just before the driver shut the doors. "It's her you need to talk to, not me. And if you can find her..." Then he gave a strange laugh. "Wait!" Kat screamed. "Don't go away!" She ran after him, but the cross-looking driver shook his head and shouted, "Fill up!" and shut the doors in her face. The strange man raised his palms upwards as well as his hands, and the bus jerked forward and gathered speed. "Oh!" Kat said. I said. "Shut up!" Kat shouted. The bus, along with the strange man, disappeared under a bridge. Kat clenched her fists and banged them on her thighs like she was a boxer fighting herself. Then she kicked a Coke can on the pavement into the gutter. "The road to nowhere," she said in a voice so loud that passers-by stared at us. "One great big waste of time." On the word time, she crushed her boot down on the Coke can. "Road to nowhere." The boot stamped up and down. The Coke went pancake flat. "Nowhere." She burst into tears. "And which way's the tube? I've forgotten." That's the end of chapter 30.